All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 35 of Joystick Maverick. What up? What up? What up? It
What's
looks the same, but it's slightly different. There we go. Look at that live stream. The delay is less than 20 seconds because we're using new software. That's right. I got sick of my computer, my internet connection defeating me and just kicking me right in the balls. I said, screw that. I'm going to take it to you, balls. I'm going to take it to you in your face. And I'm going to just shove it right in your throat. So with that, I love our sponsor. They're going to love me saying things about balls before mentioning them. But as always, this episode is brought to you by Tough Wraps. Go to toughwraps.com, get your apparel, your gear, your supplements, and use that code joystick at checkout to get 10% off of your purchase. Stay tough.
Hell yeah.
What's going on, Dom? How you been, man?
Happy St. Paddy's Day.
Happy St. Paddy's Day. Here, cheers. Dinky, dinky, dink. I know it says Crown Royal. That's okay. You know, it's fine. It's till a more due. So
that's like the first time we met each other.
Yes.
Was you drinking a whole pint glass at Crown Royal at a Cheesecake Factory?
That was my favorite thing because at that moment, I go to the barkeep and I'm like, "Hey man, let me get a double crown," and then I realized how vanilla the face on the other side of the bar is. I'm like, "You're not of age," and that kid was like, "Yeah, you're right." And he was trying to help out. Rang me up for the double, which was, unfortunate. And then he proceeded to just first off, if you're a waiter and you know the rules, you never just shove a glass straight into a pile of ice, because if you break that glass, you got to empty all of it.
Right.
That's a rookie mistake, number one. Number two, so he does that. Number two, he does a little bit like this. And then he goes like this, and he upends it because he was like, "Oh, this has only got about another shot left in this whole thing of Crown." No, it filled the entire glass. Because I remember walking over to you. You're like, "Oh, what are you drinking, man?" I'm like, "Oh, Crown and Crown." And you're like, "What? No, is it sweet tea?" I'm like, "It's Crown and Crown." And you took one sip, and your face puckered up. It was awesome. It's like, yes, this is how I roll.
And that's how our love story began.
That's right.
12 years later.
Fast forward. Here we are, yet another Paddy's Day together again. It's funny. What's the most Irish thing you could eat on St. Paddy's Day?
Corned beef and cabbage.
That's what. See, exactly. And you know what I had for dinner?
Lasagna.
Sushi. The complete opposite. It's just like throw tradition out the window. Hopefully, Mahaffey's not like screaming at me right now. Well, he kind of is. Woot in the chat. The one thing about this interface that we don't get to see is our lovely chat with our people out there on the YouTubes and all that fun stuff. But we do have our YouTube chat up on our phones here, so we can see that we're still streaming.
Yeah.
And B, that if you say something, or specifically if Mahaffey helps us out with some knowledge from the chair. Thank you again, as always, Mahaffey being our producer on the show. Hopefully we'll get things right.
It seems to me that we're getting things right now. And the reason why is that when we went live, both of our audios worked.
So far,
and
so
the
good.
video works.
So far, so good.
I'm just saying.
I just got to make sure not to click buttons like this and make us huge.
Right. You see my fucking pores with this camera.
That's right. Yeah, all my gray hairs are just glistening. So I'm going to zoom back out, make sure nobody can see the nostrils inside of my nose. Sorry, the nose hairs inside of my nose. But moving right along, I mean, we made it like how many weeks, dude? Without this kind of thing, we made it a week and a half.
Yeah,
2 weeks if we count
2 weeks,
the week off without an in memoriam. This one unfortunately hurts a lot of the things we talk about on the show. The MCU, William Hurt, no pun intended there, died from natural causes, aka prostate cancer. Died March 13th, 2022, at the age of 71. Obviously, he's had a huge impact throughout his filmography. Some of my favorite things is always just him being like a dad character, Yeah,
like
he's
plays
always
a dad
presented
really
as a dad.
Well. He's always played a dad really well.
Yeah, and I think that's what I really always kind of remember about him as far as my experience with him at the movie theater. So just to kind of go over the last couple of things that they show here: Lost in Space, what a great movie. History of Violence, broadcast news. I think that's really what kind of put him on the spot or out in the ethos.
Lost in Space, though.
Yeah. And then, of course, Moby Dick, Hellgate, Endgame, not the Marvel one. I mean, I'm just sitting here rolling through a couple of. I'm trying to see some of
An
the
episode
bigger...
of Mythic Quest. I mean, the dude's been in everything.
He was on the King of Queens. I didn't know that. He has 106 acting credits, which is bonkers. But of course, he's probably most famously known recently for his portrayal of General Thunderbolt Ross. So we've talked about how the Thunderbolts might have been a part of this next phase, and him being sick in the MCU is reminiscent of this character being sick, and then using basically turning into the Hulk to defeat that disease. Unfortunately, in real life,
I'll be honest, sick. I didn't know that he had prostate cancer, and he looked fucking terrible in Black Widow. Like, he looked... I
just thought that was great makeup.
I thought that was great makeup. I didn't realize that he was actually going through that. This is the second damn MCU actor in the last 2 years that has died from cancer, which is horrible. I mean,
it's wild. It's wild. I mean, it sucks, but I think obviously we're gonna feel that loss, and I'm curious how they've got to try to continue that on, and I'm sure it'll be in the guise of in honor of Thunderbolt Ross,
right?
The Thunderbolts, right? But this week, the state of gaming. This is kind of your world this week, mainly because I didn't have a chance to watch one of these, but you've been playing another one, supposedly getting at least one of the endings, and you have some insight into the patch updates for Elden Ring version 1.03. I guess it just dropped today. So talk to me about that, and really what
or last night. Like last night, it was nuts. I was like up really late because I've just been up playing this fucking game. And like I saw like patch notes, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I opened them up, and it's a fucking laundry list of patch notes, and I'm like, oh, everything that I love is getting nerfed. I know this. I know this going into a patch. So I mean, I beat the game on Sunday. After about 47 hours total game time. And now I'm going back and cleaning everything up. I got essentially what they're calling the good ending. There's a good ending, a bad ending, and then there's 4 other regular endings. And the ending that I got was cool. It
regular
was
endings.
It was based off the fact that I finished the quest line. But I'm still loving the game. Now that I've beaten it and I'm going back and cleaning everything up, I'm probably getting to the point now where I'm like, all right, I don't need to play this game every day. It's probably time to move to another game.
Nice.
Which I'm thinking about playing Horizon, just because I'm kind of in that, like, I'm digging the open world stuff right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so patch 1.03 changed a whole bunch of stuff. Added a bunch of NPCs to the game to finish quest lines that were broken, which is really cool for them to do that right off the bat. But the biggest change comes to like specific weapons and weapon arts that are used in the game, and how this is really affecting the speedrunning community. So like right now, the world record for Elden Ring for any percent, and any percent means like essentially get to the end of the game, like the fastest way to get to the end of the game without doing 100% of the game, is 28 minutes and I think 14 seconds. Which is out fucking outrageous.
I mean, what are you doing? Just holding down up? I mean, you're just running
and I've watched and this guy, the guy, I can't remember his name, and Mike can clue me in. I need Mike to clue me in.
Mike said he was robbed. I don't know.
No bullshit. Mike was absolutely robbed. So before we get into that whole thing,
broken into and robbed?
No. In this game, it sucks. I feel so bad for him. So essentially, 2 main weapons were nerfed in this game: the Sword of Night and Flame and the weapon art Hoarfrost Stomp. And both of those are used in the speedrunning community because they essentially just trivialize all the bosses. They make it super easy. The Sword of Night and Flame, I would say, is a little more difficult just because you kind of have to line it up and you can get hit still. The Hoarfrost Stomp really, really trivialized a lot of bosses in the speedrunning community, and they nerfed the shit out of it. and it's pretty much it's not even close to what it was before. Mike is at the very end of the game. I know that he's on the second to last boss, and
Oh, I can already smell where this going. Oh man,
uses the Hoarfrost. He used the Hoarfrost stomp, and he built his build around it. So they nerfed it. His build's completely fucked. So he has spent, you know, this afternoon, this evening, like trying to figure out what he wants to play build wise, what's still good, what's not good. I luckily finished the game on Sunday, and my build was completely built around Sword of Night and Flame, and that got nerfed into oblivion. So I'm like, all right, well, at least I beat the game, and like I have weapons now that I got since beating the game that are still really good. But that shit
so
sucks.
pissed though, dude.
I feel so bad.
It's not even been how many weeks in, and they're already
2 weeks.
severely
they nerfed the shit out of it.
You know, they've got to have. Go ahead.
The discourse is, it's a From Software game. It's not supposed to be easy, and I'm like, well, fuck that. It's Destiny runs into this same thing where they nerf things based on like community. The 1% of the community that bitches about something, and they also nerf things based on one style of gameplay that affects other styles of gameplay. And what I mean is, something that's very powerful in PvP gets nerfed into the ground, but then effectively kills it in PvE, which is unfortunate. It happens in Destiny all the time. Some of the most egregious cases of that, and it's typically PvP. That's the reason why it gets nerfed. It's never really nerfed because of PvE. Now in Elden Ring, Sword of Night and Flame and Mimic Tier were both very overpowered. So, and for the PvE side, and they got nerfed. But in like Destiny, you had Nova Warp that was super powerful in PvP, nerfed into the ground, unusable in PvE. Behemoth Titan was also nerfed into the ground because it was super powerful in PvP, useless in PvE now. And that's really unfortunate because you're kind of isolating part of your fan base. By doing things
immediately
like that,
alienating all those people that made the choice based off of the merit they saw in it. Mahaffey even just shouted out in chat saying that, not to mention that he killed the boss and died and didn't get credit for it. And he said that he died with a boss with single digits of health left. So he just barely did it.
He's like raging hard at the last two bosses, because the last two bosses aren't easy. The second to last boss is pretty difficult. He moves around a lot, and then the last boss just hits like a fucking truck. And what Mike is really trying to do at this point is finish, because he's like, he asked me yesterday or the day before yesterday, he's like, how do I get to the end of the game? Because he wants what it is a sacred relic sword, because that thing shoots like a wave of light that essentially obliterates everything around it.
I think I've seen that being used in videos already. People were like, because of the caption read, when you're the boss, because you roll up and you just decimate the other guy.
And it's used for a rune farm mostly, so that you can level up quickly. So he's like trying to get to that so that he can do that, so that he can start doing the other stuff before New Game Plus. And I'm like, I'm with you. Like, that's part of the reason why I finished the game. I don't have two kids. Mike has two kids, so like he doesn't get to sit in front of his TV for 8 hours a day.
That means those hours are much more, not necessarily, I don't say precious, but few and far between than you have. That's the worst.
But going back to the speedrunners real quick. So the any percent run was 28 minutes and 14 seconds. That's by Distortion. Mike posted it up in chat, which
Distortion
is
awesome. 2, right?
Distortion 2. They're saying like now a sub hour is like not even possible, because
it's kind of good though. If you're the game developer, you don't want somebody
you're kind of
all over your work.
In the any percent runs don't really interest me, because a lot of it is like breaking the game, exploiting the game, glitching in and out of spaces, and all of that. They found like a green tube you can jump into and jump to World 8. Got it. Right. What really is interesting are these all remembrance runs. And remembrances you get from killing like the big bosses. You get from killing them. You get remembrances that you can turn into weapons and stuff. And there's a bunch of bosses that have remembrances. And these one of the guys, his name's Ella Jazz, I think. He's the world record holder for that, and it's like an hour and 58 minutes of him going through like essentially killing almost every single boss in the game. And he used Sword of Night and Flame, which was the main weapon. But having him now kind of pick different weapons, and like I watched him for a couple hours today of him trying like one weapon and going through it, and another weapon of going through it, and trying to like kind of actually theory craft build. That's cool. Like I think that's the cool stuff. I mean, it's definitely killing the any percent sub hour runs, but these all remembrance runs become significantly more interesting because now they're using builds that, you know, aren't just one shots. Yet there's one skill that they didn't. So there's two things they didn't touch that are completely broken in the game. And one is even more broken now because they buffed it, and that's bleed damage. So bleed, like a bleed build is there was an issue with it scaling off arcane and it wasn't doing it. And now they fixed it where it does scale off arcane and it's fucking broken. It's the strongest thing in the game. And then they didn't nerf Comet Azure, which is a move that that sorcerers can use. It's the same move that the Night and Flame sword uses. It just, you can hold it and infinitely use it for as much mana as you have. And there's an item that gives you infinite mana for 15 seconds. So essentially you're just a fucking cannon for 15 seconds.
Yeah, just shitting.
And they didn't touch it. So like, I'm sure those are coming at some point. So I'm not even remotely trying to build around that.
Yeah, it'll be the next patch, and it'll be right again when Mahaffey's about to defeat the final boss.
To do something. So I hope he gets it.
Yeah, me too, man. I mean, that's the worst. That's definitely the worst. Especially after last week's episode where we did note that he was further along than you, and he was giving you so much shit. And what'd you do?
I blew right past his ass.
Right past him.
I fucking.
It's like being at the carnival where you're just holding that water pistol at that little circle, and you see your little guy going, and all of a sudden here comes somebody with a super soaker.
Yeah,
I blew gone.
But again, like I said, I don't have 2 kids. I don't have obligations on the weekends. Like I literally just sat there for 2 days straight, like 12 hours a day, and fucking played that game. So
damn. Well, now I think the next one is going to be another one of those games you're probably going to end up playing for a while. Hogwarts Legacy State of Play live stream. Oh yeah, you're gonna be wrestling for that controller, bro. You're like, Ernie, I had to go buy another PS5.
You joke, but literally she looked at me and was like, yeah, you probably know, you're gonna need to buy another PS5 for this. And I'm like,
so talk to me about this State of Play today. What was kind of revealed? What things interested you? And
so
can you tell me where it takes place in the timeline as far as Harry to?
I can tell you all of that. So
yes. I'm gonna put the main camera on you. You take it away.
15 minutes of gameplay, plus another bunch of developer stuff.
Sorry.
And it was awesome. So the game. So up until now, we haven't seen shit for this game. We saw a trailer at E3 a couple of years back, and everybody was like, and also a bunch of shit leaked about this game years ago. That it was, that it was like this open world style Harry Potter game. And that's exactly what it is. So the game takes place in the late 1800s, about 100 years before the events of the Harry Potter books. And if you know the time period at that time, that's about the time that Dumbledore was born. He was born in the late 1800s. So at this point in time, he's probably a student. He's probably a very young student if he's in the game. But it is an open world game. You play as a character who they didn't reveal really anything about the story, but you play as a character who's coming into the school at year 5. which is
Oh,
interesting.
okay. So you at least have some ability. You've got some transfiguration. You've got some potion making. You're not an idiot, but you're not senior year about to peace out.
Right. I mean, I don't know if the game just starts at year 5. I don't, but it makes it seems like you haven't been at school. Like there's a reason why you haven't been at school until year 5, which is interesting.
Okay.
It's massive. The game is massive. So it's not just Hogwarts. You have Hogsmeade, you have caves and towns, and essentially the entire Scottish countryside to travel through on a broom or a hippogriff. It even looks like you might be able to fly on a thestral. Essentially, the game opens up with you getting sorted, and you can be in any of the 4 houses. Each house is their common room's been like completely built from the ground up. All the secret passages are in Hogwarts.
Oh, that's
Everything
awesome.
moves. The room of requirement plays a huge part of the game, of being kind of like a home base for you, that morphs to your needs. And essentially, what they've said story beat wise is like you have a gift to kind of tap into deep ancient magic, and you're also kind of in the mix of possibly a goblin rebellion. And
Oh
goblins have
shit.
allied themselves with dark wizards, which is fucking sweet.
All right, that's
But
cool. That's pretty fucking cool, actually.
you go to class, you learn how to mix potions, and you learn how to grow plants, and you know how to do charms and defense against the dark arts and all of the classes. um it seems like the spell book is outrageously enormous, even going so far as to kind of tease the fact that you'll be able to use the unforgivable curses. Like you have a moment where he casts the killing curse out, and I'm like, oh shit, do you get to like pick if you're going to be a bad guy or a good guy now? And like there's this whole morality thing, and it's done by Avalanche, and I think Avalanche is the team that did I'm looking it up right now. I think they're the team that did the Shadow of Mordor games.
Okay, that was huge.
I could be wrong. You know what? I think I'm wrong. They did Just Cause.
I don't think I remember that one.
Yeah. They did Just Cause, Rage 2, it looks like.
Oh, they've been around for a while.
Game. Yeah, they've been around for a while.
Yeah, a bunch of Disney Infinity stuff, Bolt, Rampage Through Time, Rampage 2. Oh, this is all their older stuff. Yeah. Dragon Ball Z Sagas, okay. Dang, okay.
But the game looks massive. It's huge. I'm so excited for it. Ashley was freaking out during the whole thing because she was like, that looks awesome. And that looks, and like you're hearing names of like characters that but it's 100 years before, so you're kind of hearing like surnames, and one of them is Professor Fig, and you're like, oh, is that like the same Fig as Mrs. Fig from the books, who's a squib? And you're like, fuck, this is dope. And I'm so excited for this, and I know what's happening, and I've already seen it, and it's being marred in the background about what's going on with J.K. Rowling and how she is just a fucking twat these days.
She just can't get out of her own way, man. She just can't.
And
it's so much easier just to shut up,
Right. And we talk about like art versus artist and all that shit, and I'm super excited for this game. I really am going to play it. Ashley is through the over the moon excited about it. It's exactly what gets her excited about video games and all of that. And it's a story that hasn't been told. And when the developers started, because they had 15 minutes of gameplay, and then they had another like 10 minutes of like developer talk. And it sounds like the developers really gave a shit about what to do, and about making sure that it feels new as well as nostalgic.
Chat just asked, can you make your poop disappear in this game? I don't know if that was touched on.
No, not. I don't think so. I know that Mike's thing is about what do wizards do for plumbing.
I kind of
It's been
assume
brought up
they just
before. I
shit
think
on
it's that
Moaning Myrtle, right? Like she eats the poop and then it's gone. It's just that's how that works.
right.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you bringing us up to speed on that. I'm excited about seeing a little bit more about it and actually watching this live stream later. But definitely
You
good
should.
things.
It looks fucking sick.
All right, moving right along, coming soon this week. Actually, kind of got some good stuff in here. The first things first, we got Ms. Marvel with Kamala Harris, not Kamala Harris, Kamala Khan, a fangirl of the Avengers, particularly Carol Danvers and / Captain Marvel, who struggles to fit in until she gains her own powers. Based on that trailer, what I kind of remember ever seeing about Kamala was her ability to kind of like, I don't know, almost Mr. Fantastic herself.
Yeah.
I don't know what her other abilities are.
That's what I know of, like the stretching and the make herself big and all that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to let me see.
What's interesting is that for all of the coming soon that we have this week, I watched the trailers 5 minutes before we hit the live button because I wanted them fresh for the first time. So
Nice.
when you said we were going live, it was like the end of this trailer.
Oh, there you go.
And let me tell you what, you know how you get me hyped for a fucking TV show or a movie? Throw a dope song in the trailer. And The Weeknd is the song in this. And
it was stuck in my head for like 2 days.
Yeah, and I love that song. It's
here you go. Here's the wiki on her powers. Khan's probably most well-known power is elongation. Nailed it. Which allows her to extend her limbs, torso, or her neck to great distances. Her other powers include the ability to alter her size, allowing her to shrink and enlarge herself, similar to Ant-Man. When she enlarges, she can lift up to 75 tons. She's even used this ability to make her body as thin as paper. Khan has a healing factor, which is capable of healing from bullet wounds. Although Khan extensively heals, she will become heavily fatigued. She can shapeshift into other people and even inanimate objects. Wow. Though she uses this rarely. I don't think this is the same power scheme for the show.
I think we're getting some of it.
Oh, there you go. Happy in the chat. First off, hey, Sean, welcome to the chat. Hype, hype, hype. He said, my 80s. I'm gonna T star TS tits. My 80s tits are jacked because of that. What? We'll let you have that one, Sean. And then Happy said she was exposed to Terrigen Mist, and when she hatched, she looked like Carol Danvers. Sean said I got it right. Yeah, definitely 80s tits are jacked. Yes, you are. But now it's weird. Yep, because I read it late. That's fantastic. But no, I guess she was exposed to Terrigen Mist. If you watched Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and you're aware of the Inhumans and their Terrigen, they go through that process of basically gaining their powers through Terrigen Mist. So that's wonderful. So at least that's how she gets it. Cool.
Yeah.
She can embiggen herself.
She calls it. It's called embiggen. Yeah.
Okay. And shapeshift. Okay. Well, at least in the trailer though, she's throwing up like basically force fields and shit like that. Like
yeah,
it kind of reminisces at least the color of the energy constructs. They remind me a lot of Carol Danvers and her powers. Now, granted, that could just be a color scheme choice.
It looks like very much a color scheme choice because it looks very cosmic.
Yeah. So
the talk is the reason why they didn't go with the powers right off the bat that she normally has is because of Reed Richards and how they're going to introduce Reed Richards into the MCU, and they didn't want that to be the first thing. The other thing that you like hear from this, and this is what drives me insane about the fucking internet as a whole, is that like it's never going to be 100% accurate to anything, and you're never going to please every single group of people. Like there are people that are upset because of the actress not being fully Muslim, not being they're not picking a fully Muslim actress to do that. And
it's called acting, though.
It's the same fucking thing that people are saying, like people said about In the Heights, that they didn't cast enough Afro Hispanic folks. And I'm in that group. I'm Black and Hispanic. Like, I get that. I'm just happy to be a part of the conversation of a movie that celebrates my heritage. I'm not going to get butthurt that there aren't dark-skinned, Hispanics in the movie in mass. I understand that we as a group of people, probably not as prevalent in the acting universe, and probably not as prevalent in the musical acting universe. And it drives me insane because people immediately judge this before it even comes out because of things like that. And it happens all over the place. Like, is some of that absolutely, warranted? Like, should, LGBTQ actors play those like LGBTQ roles? Absolutely. Should they be the first choice for those roles? Absolutely. Should we cast more trans actors? Yes. Should we cast more ethnically diverse actors in roles?
Sure.
But we shouldn't be casting ethnically diverse actors just for the sake of casting ethnically diverse actors. And
well said.
I never look at a trailer or a movie that is like, unless it's egregious, unless it's like someone's in fucking blackface or someone is playing, like the Ancient One was a big thing where it was like Tilda Swinton playing a Tibetan monk, but in the comic books she is of Celtic heritage. And Danny Rand being fucking blonde hair and blue eyes. Yes, in the comics he is blonde hair and blue eyes. That's how it is. Like, it's not whitewashing at that point. But yes, like, I mean,
what was a movie with Christian Bale playing Moses? Was it called Egypt? Where
I mean, shit like that.
Actors
like,
are white as shit.
Yeah,
and it's like
Christian Bale shouldn't be playing Moses. Nobody white should be playing anybody from that region, like, at all.
Exactly.
So
I totally get it. I mean, I think it was actually Simu Liu who put up a tweet and was like, you know what, this character, you might not identify with this character, but if you do, then this is going to be a great show for you, and if you don't, then this is going to be a great show for you. It's just a great show. Like, it's going to be a great character and a great show and a great story.
Simu Liu is becoming one of my favorite people in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He just, every time he's like Rahul Kohli, where like every time he says something, I'm like, all right, cool.
You see him the other day, was like, oh shit, it was Mark Hamill tweeted something about like, congratulations to Grant Feely, who's going to be playing young Luke Skywalker. You're going to do great. And Rahul was like, so this is how I fucking find out that I didn't pass the audition. It was priceless. I was like, yes, you are a nerd, my son.
This looks
one of us. Though. Yeah, it
like,
it looks awesome.
Doesn't it look good? Like, it looks good.
Like a banta.
Yeah.
all those memes have been so fucking great.
Yes, Scarlett Johansson and Ghost of the Shell was a mistake. I'm absolutely with you, Mike. Yeah, that was a mistake. It should never have happened.
Just forget you smelled it and keep moving on. Next up, Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight. We got another trailer here, and this is actually, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this might have been the first time like people who aren't familiar with Moon Knight were kind of shed into the world that it's multiple personalities. Yeah, especially with one personality with one accent talking to the other in a reflection. And I think it's finally being kind of thrown out there, like, yeah, this guy's not quite all there, and we're going to see those different personalities interact with each other, and sometimes maybe in the beginning of the movie or beginning of the series, not even know they're interacting or even know about one another. So it should be fun. If you haven't seen it, it's like a 30-second little bite.
You could put fucking Oscar Isaac in literally everything, and I literally will watch it.
I mean, I think I enjoy just figuring, like, he was the first person I recall in recent history eating Cheetos with chopsticks. Yeah, it's like, why haven't we been doing that for years?
And his friendship with Pedro Pascal, like,
oh, that shit's adorable.
They're both incredible. I love both of those guys.
She is.
They are great for the Hispanic community. I will tell you right now, they are both very good for the Hispanic community.
I got a question for you. Is Puss in Boots great for the Hispanic community? I think Antonio Banderas is.
Yeah,
yes.
Come on. That's the OG. That guy was Oscar. Like, Antonio Banderas walked so that Oscar Isaac and Pedro Pascal could run. That's exactly how that.
Yes. Oh man. So this is the latest one I've seen. Puss in Boots discovers that his passion for adventure has taken its toll. He's burned through 8 of his 9 lives. Puss sets out on an epic journey to find the mythical last wish and restore his 9 lives. That's actually a pretty fun storyline.
That's cool.
Mainly because if you are aware that he's got those 9 lives, once you get down towards that last one, it's kind of like, what am I going to do to elongate this a little bit further? Right. So now you're going to have to deal with like his mortality and approaching it and understanding it, the risk of life and limb, and that kind of stuff, which I'm sure is going to end up being one of those, oh no, he's down to his last 9 lives and now he's got to save a friend or something. That's the story writes itself. But of course, if you're a fan of the Shrek franchise, you're probably going to love watching it.
Hell yeah.
And I guess, Florence Pugh is going to be in this. That's great. I like Olivia Colman. She's wonderful. Let's see. John Mulaney, for reasons.
Florence Pugh. Good Lord. Yes. If anybody could pull off a short haircut, it's Florence Pugh. I read something it was a TikTok that I watched where it was, someone said, okay, Hollywood, anytime that you think about putting Jared Leto in a movie, just replace Jared Leto with Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh. I'd be okay with that. I would actually love to watch a show. I could watch We Worked on HBO Max.
Yeah.
He's unfortunately showing up in all the wrong places. And now I'm just kind of like, it's never going to be a right place.
Not
just
for
stick
him.
with 30 Seconds to Mars, and just so I don't have to see her face.
Your mediocre emo band.
Speaking of, you know what? Speaking of, this would be a great name for a mediocre emo band. The Boys. The Boys season 3 trailer dropped. If you haven't seen it, you might want to know that a group of vigilantes set out to take down corrupt superheroes who abuse their superpowers. Pretty straightforward. This season, I've never read the comics for The Boys. I know they exist.
Yeah.
I have yet to read them, so I don't really know if and when and where we're going to start veering from the storyline if we haven't already. But I love the fact that now Billy the Butcher is going to get some superpowers. Hopefully he uses them for some good uses against Anthony Starr's character, Homelander, which fuck that guy.
Don't beat up a bartender.
Beat up a bartender. What the fuck is wrong with this dude, man? I mean, just again,
boy, set not to be Homelander.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. You're in character, but no, you're not. And then I'm actually really excited about Jensen Ackles joining the cast this season. He actually was friends with, I think, the showrunner for this. It was like, hey, you want to be on the show? And he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, of course. And he's like, how about a Soldier Boy? Which Soldier Boy to me is, from what I watched a small interview with him and
Michael Rosenbaum.
You saw the same little TikTok.
Our
algorithms are so in sync.
Yeah,
I love that interview. It's just like,
he's great.
Yeah, he was just basically saying like, this guy, he fought in World War II and just doesn't age like everybody else. So he's like a crotchety old
Captain
guy,
America,
but in Captain America's body. But like all the years of just civil rights and all that shit and going through all of that. I hope it's not like a super racist version of like Jensen Ackles, but at the same time, the show doesn't really seem to surprise me that it wouldn't do that. But
well,
yeah, actually,
Stormfront was a Nazi, so I mean,
all bets are off here. This is
I watched this trailer, like the one right. I watched this trailer, the trailer before, Miss Marvel trailer like 5 minutes before the show started, and
It's
I'm
just
like,
polarizingly
it's
different
just
trailers.
fucking gross, dude. It's just fucking.
It's so good.
It's people getting blown up, having their fucking arms broken on camera. Like, I'm like, what is going on with this show?
It's so fun. It just doesn't take itself too seriously. Unfortunately, Anthony Starr did and beat up a waitress. But yeah, I'm excited for it. It comes out June 3rd of this year. Should be some more fun in there for all of us that just, we're sick people.
I might have to get caught up. I might have to watch it and just be like, sit there and fucking watch it. I watched most of the first season. And
Happy just put in the chat. He said he's totally going to be a racist character. So,
absolutely.
That's gonna be great. Yeah.
Might I just say, can we put Jensen Ackles in the fucking MCU at this point? Because God, I love that man.
Yeah, dude. I love the fact too that he has a story that makes you want to hate Jessica Alba from that podcast episode as well. Just where she treated him like a bitch boy, and he was just like, actually, you're the bitch boy. But I digress. All right, so let's see.
Replace Chris Pratt with him as Star-Lord, and let's just be done with it.
Just seamlessly transition. Whatever they do to get from Johnny Depp to Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, just do that here. Let's see. Huey ends up covered in blood in almost every. Oh yeah,
I know.
every episode, Huey's covered in blood. First episode covered in blood. Every episode covered in blood. Actually, this week's lightning rounds, I've yet to actually read these headlines, so I don't really know much about them, but I'm going to read them. I just read them. Moon Knight is a smash from early reactions. We fucking knew that was going to happen. Top Gun Maverick to premiere at Cannes. Really?
Why? Here's how you make that movie make money. Premiere it for a bunch of 40-year-old fucking Navy retired chiefs and senior chiefs and lieutenants and petty and
people that get to actually have always wanted to meet Tom Cruise now get to meet Tom Cruise because he'll probably be there schlepping it, or hopefully it's like an entourage situation where they know it's shit and they're trying to sell it to an idiot for $1.
Right.
Like I want this thing to be the Medellin that it should fucking be.
Yeah.
Jaden Smith rumored as Miles Morales. I don't hate that.
No, I don't hate that. He's too old. For right now, he's too old.
That's fair. He is lanky as shit too. It's not like he's short.
I think he would be good as an older Miles Morales. I do. He's way too old.
Who, if you had just off the top of your head, who would you fan cast?
The kid from Stranger Things. Immediately.
Oh, that would be dope.
Yeah, immediately. He even dresses like Miles Morales in Stranger Things. Immediately.
It writes itself.
Absolutely.
Oh, here we go. Chat once again. Whoa, dude! I'm a 40-year-old ex-Navy dude.
Yeah, and that movie's literally targeted at you. It has Jennifer Connelly in it. It has fucking Tom Cruise in it.
What's that guy's name? Miles something. I hate that guy.
It has John Hamm in it. It has dude. It literally is a. No, we're making it personal, Mike. That movie is for you, and it's for people like my father, who's also retired Navy. Like,
I'm gonna watch this too because my father was also retired Navy.
And we're from an area that literally is like Navy Town, USA, and everybody's gonna go see this movie.
We might be getting a short-range missile to our houses right now if Billy Courtney sees this episode. Just no. And then finally, to round things out on the oh wait.
I mean, Tom Holland
was relatively unknown. That's true. If you hadn't,
he was in Billy Elliot.
Guy. Yeah, he was in Billy Elliot.
The stage play.
What was that one where he was in the tsunami trying to find people? Oh
God, I can't remember that. I know he was
that one. That one makes me cry. I can't even.
Miles Teller. Yeah, Miles Teller's in Top Gun 2. You don't like Miles Teller? I didn't like him. I don't like him either. I liked Whiplash because I liked how J.K. Simmons abused him.
Yes. But is that terrible? He's just got something about his face. Just want to. I mean, he's probably bigger than me too, and I still just want to.
I don't think he is. Well, he might be as Goose's son. They couldn't get Meg Ryan back, which is bullshit. Like,
what is she doing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck is Meg Ryan doing?
She's busy.
And they completely wrote off the chick who played I can't remember her name. The girl who played Tom Cruise's love interest because she has not aged very well because she just aged like a normal human being and is not Jennifer Connelly, who looks the same as she did in fucking Requiem for a Dream. So
yeah, Jennifer Connelly, Labyrinth, is the same exact person as she is
in Top Gun 2.
Yeah,
30 years later.
It's insane.
Makes no sense.
And then finally, for rounding out our lightning round, the boys get greenlit for season 4 already. So that's got to be great.
All right,
man, that's actually pretty fantastic. Your season doesn't air for like another couple of months, and you're already got another season in the pipe. Sweet.
Hell yeah.
All right, so lightning round done. Next up, new releases. I realize one of these things has already come out. The first thing, but you know what has not come out? It has not come out to your home. Spider-Man No Way Home. Now it's in your home. I definitely bought it on iTunes immediately. Give me that 4K version that I don't have to like pretend that I don't know where things exist on the internet to watch. It's coming out. Let's see, Blu-ray and 4K Ultra HD on April 12th. This is funny because it got moved up by a week because it leaked online. I mean, I guess if you're it leaked online. Hopefully, we can trick people into buying it now before they find out it's everywhere else. Never mention Requiem for a Dream in my presence again. Nice. Thanks, Mahaffey. This chat is off the rails.
Mike Mahaffey.
This is an angry chat this week.
Mike Mahaffey gets triggered by Requiem. Also, Jared Leto's in that movie.
Yeah. I think that's why he got upset.
It's not why he got upset. I know he got upset, but I won't bring it up.
But I mean, to be fair, it is St. Paddy's Day. Some people are just angry drunks. Who knows? They could a little bit of the whiskey might be getting under your skin. But as we already have done many spoilers for Spider-Man, we don't need to dwell on it too much. Just watch it.
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in the movie.
Yeah, spoiler alert, they're there. Here's a big old picture. That's one thing I do need to work on for this new setup is banners. The spoiler banners need to come back. Because right now they ain't here. That's not great.
It's all right.
It's not good.
The movie's been out forever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they've seen the same exact clip on TikTok 75 million times over. But they're all telling each other how great they think they are. I love you. And like, okay, cool. And then they jump off the same scaffolding at the same time. Good call. I need to drink after my kids fall asleep. Yes. This is a requirement. Cheers to that.
I'm not drinking out of a bottle.
I was really hoping you were just going to pour one back.
No, last time I drank a whole bottle of wine on stream, I was very hungover the next day.
We still got to do the take an edible at the beginning of stream and see how far we get.
You haven't been doing that every stream?
No. Unbeknownst to everybody else. Next up on our new release is the Adam Project. I mean, who isn't in this?
This was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Ryan Reynolds, Mark Ruffalo, Jennifer Garner, Catherine Keener, Zoe Saldana, Alex Malari Jr., and Walker Scobell, who plays a young Ryan Reynolds. It's actually a super fun little sci-fi time travel paradoxical movie. End of the day, the kid who plays the young Ryan Reynolds is pretty spot on at being like a fast-talking, annoying kid who also seems too smart for his own good. Ryan Reynolds is basically that, but older, right? So one thing I did find fantastic, and I'm sure everybody, including you, saw this clip already, was just him quoting Deadpool 2
and just fucking going full on it. It was
and describing good. Like asides and things happening in the scene.
I like when kids cuss. There are two things I like watching on the internet. I like when kids get hit by
kids falling off bikes. I could watch kids falling off bikes all day.
Falling off
fuck
bikes.
Kids.
Running into doors. Fuck them kids. Yeah. And then kids cussing. I like both of those things. I watch both of them a lot.
Yeah. Quick aside. I don't know if you've been, in the past 4 years, if you've been to Buffalo Wild Wings, but some Buffalo Wild Wings that I've been to recently, they have Chive TV. I don't know if you've seen it on one of the displays. The Chive, I have not, do not subscribe, but Chive TV is fantastic. Because I'm just sitting there chomping on chicken wings, nipping at some beers, and it's just people just slamming headlong and like into trees, off of roofs, whatever. It's just like it's like Fail Army, but curated just for me. Yep. And it's just as funny before the first beer, and it's just as funny after the fourth beer. Like it's the whole time it makes it great. It's genius because I could sit there and just nip on beers and eat wings and just watch that all day. Unfortunately, with all the spiciness and the snot that keeps coming down, it breaks my concentration. But next up, Turning Red.
Oh, you know how to get a whole bunch of people pissed off? Put out a movie about women's periods.
I totally got it immediately. Like, that's hilarious.
People were very upset. People are very upset about this movie.
Aunt Flo. We call it Shark Week. We can call it Turning Red. Like, it's a funny play on words. But here's what maybe because I'm a white cis male, I don't get why people are mad.
It's interestingly that you don't get
periods
that,
happen,
considering who you are, since you are a white cis male. Because apparently, being a white cis conservative male right now, it's rough watching TV because
I just must not be drinking whatever the fuck they're drinking.
You got black elves in Lord of the Rings and black dwarves in Lord of the Rings. You got a Chinese guy playing a Marvel superhero. You got all this shit, and people are very upset. And
dude, I don't understand why they're upset though. For me, it's like
I can't relate to this movie. It teaches kids blah 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. The movie's not for you. Like,
well, how can you not relate to this movie? Is my question, because to me, it's like, you've got you must have been in middle school at some point in the past several decades. If you're at least watching our show, it is marked mature. 13 was such an awkward age for all of us. Even there's like several boy characters in this movie, and one of them is so uncomfortable with how he feels about things. He has to try to hide that he likes the same band as the chicks in the movie. I get that. I love Backstreet Boys, loud and proud.
I saw NSYNC at the Superdome, so like, fuck everything about that. Like, I mean,
right?
Not every movie has to make you feel something. Like, for a movie can be good. I don't relate to fucking every movie. I don't relate to Titanic because I wasn't on a fucking boat that sank. Does that make it a bad movie?
Yeah, but you can understand why Jack should have been able to fit on that fucking door.
Right. I don't relate to Fight Club because I was never in a fight club with Jared Leto and Brad Pitt. Again, Jared Leto comes up again.
Fuck you, Jared Leto. You deserve to get your face beat in. God
Rest
damn.
in peace, Meatloaf.
Oh, Meatloaf. His name was Robert Paulson.
Like, not every movie has to fucking like hit you on an emotional level, and because it doesn't, it's a bad movie and shouldn't be shown. Like, fuck off. Yeah. Like, the whole rhetoric behind that shit is stupid. Like, this shit was great, man. Good shit, dude.
This shit was great.
Good shit.
It was all
this shit.
Yeah, it was all female leadership. It was all female art design team. It was a female fucking movie. And if it, again, same shout out Seymour Liu. If it didn't really resonate for you, it doesn't make it not a great movie. It's great,
right?
And like even I told you guys in chat
resonated
earlier,
with Mike Mahaffey, and he's white, and that destroyed Hispanics.
What? He's white? Since when? People don't know. You don't know. That could be Mike Mahaffey in this picture right now.
Right. A red panda.
Yes. After several whiskeys.
That's what my nickname was.
Oh, what? I'm following. Hey, Sean. Just found out Mahaffey's maybe not white and he's out. Priceless. Guess what, man? This not only action leaves. Not only is this episode always brought to you by Tough Raps, it's brought to you by this last final round is also brought to you by Tough Raps. But guess what?
Because we don't have anything.
I don't have anything for the final round. That's why this episode is called St. Patty's Day Free for All. We just got nothing. Here's the last slide. It's nothing. It's empty.
Let's talk about all the things that we really hate about.
There it is.
The Irish.
Let's talk about racism. No, actually, I wanted to kind of pepper out some of the things that we were like, I was half joking about. If you're watching the show and you think we're going to reveal something cool about nerddom or movies that came out or TV shows or whatever, or video games, that has ended. We're just gonna probably shoot the breeze for the next couple of minutes, and then ask you as always to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that little banner down there now. Don't forget to click the bell. But yeah, so
What a great banner. That looks good.
ta-da! Look at that. We're learning. We're learning. And I don't think we slowed down 1 minute here. We might be a little jittery, but whatever. That's really just
It's looked good
my
the whole
internet.
time.
I like it. Let me see what some of the ideas we threw out earlier. Yeah, NCAA March Madness, by the way, starting today on St. Patty's Day with all those games going on. I was working. I worked. I swear I worked. I swear I did my job today. But I also had all the games up. And Richmond beating Iowa earlier was electric factory, because they had no shot on paper. A couple of my bets hit, was nice. And the reason I bring up the fact that it's St. Patty's Day and it's NCAA March Madness is, I don't know if you remember this Disney classic, Luck of the Irish.
With the dude from Psych? Yeah.
Yes. I somebody put that up on Twitter earlier today, and I was like, oh, that's right, that terrible ass movie where supposedly the grandfather's leprechaun, and his luck helped him accidentally shave potatoes too thin to thus create the potato chip, and thus the family fortune from that.
I
That
totally
kind of
forgot that was the fucking premise of the movie. Like, I know the movie, but like,
so
that's
ridiculous.
Awesome.
That's ridiculous.
Very awesome.
Yeah, the fact that exists is wonderful. If you haven't seen it, it's probably on Disney Plus. Something
All
we
of them
didn't
are.
mention. So is all the mature content on Disney Plus. I was caught off guard when I had to enter my password in again to set myself to mature content, and then my wife's account to mature content.
I hope,
because we got the Daredevil and all that stuff now. So
I hope that means that content will be more edgy on that platform. Like, now that they've like added all of the Marvel shows. I mean, because like fucking Luke Cage in the the Luke Cage show, like Luke Cage fucks Jessica Jones through the floor.
Yeah.
Like, just through the floor.
And doesn't it get with Rosario Dawson's character at some point as well?
Yeah.
So I mean, and
that guy's batting 1,000 in my book.
And that the cop with one arm, like he's making runs.
Did they put the Punisher on Disney Plus?
I didn't check. I'm
now,
assuming
if they put the Punisher on Disney Plus, that show is fucked up. There's a lot of gratuitous violence on that show. Mike, tell us, did they put the Punisher on Disney Plus?
It's got to be everybody. It's got to be.
I love, my favorite part of the marketing for this whole thing is like, watch Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and the Defenders on Disney Plus. Oh, also, Iron Fist might be there too, but nobody fucking cares about him because that guy can't act.
It's so, man, I feel so bad for the guy. You know, he did his best.
I work with a guy, and when I say work with a guy, like this guy is like my partner at work. Like, we work very close together. That looks exactly like that actor.
Oh, really?
Like 100. Like you put up a photo between both of them, and you're like, fuck, man, they look the same.
Punisher's here. Punisher's on here. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we got read it off: Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, the Defenders, Punisher, and to round it out, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. My question now is, does that make all of that canon? Because it should. It fucking should.
Well, I know that Daredevil's canon at least, because they said it in no way. Because Vincent D'Onofrio was like, yeah, it's the same fucking Kingpin from Daredevil. Yeah. And Charlie Cox is like, yeah, it's the same fucking Daredevil from Daredevil.
Gotta be, man. I mean, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't really touch too much. I mean, they even had some people from like Thor, some of those characters in there.
Yeah, shut up. Sif showed up, right?
Yeah, exactly right. So like that's, and then we've got the Terrigen Mist now with potentially with what's her face, Ms. Marvel,
Kamala.
So like, all that's got to be kind of grouped together. And I think there's nothing, again, there's nothing harmful, but like, what would you want to redo over that stuff? Like, why would you want to wipe it out? It makes no fucking sense.
It's so good. Like, I get that people didn't like Iron Fist's acting, but the story behind it was really good.
Yeah.
The Luke Cage stuff was awesome, and the Daredevil stuff was fucking exceptional.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Jessica Jones. Anytime I get a David Tennant being evil,
You love the Doctor Who's. That's why.
bro.
Like you put Christopher Eccleston,
great.
David Tennant, or that other
so
guy,
great.
Matt Smith, in any of them. Peter Capaldi, you're like, I'll watch it.
Guess who's in Morbius?
Jared Leto.
Matt Smith.
How many movies is that? Hang on, real quick. How many movies is that we have said Jared Leto about?
I think we're at 6.
Fight Club, Requiem for a Dream, Morbius. What else did we say?
We didn't say
there were more.
We didn't say Dallas Buyers Club, but
we didn't say.
Well,
there's 4 Dallas Buyers Club. You mentioned that show on HBO.
Oh yeah, we worked.
Yeah, we mentioned Jared Leto a lot on the show. This episode brought to you by Jared Leto's sex cult.
Yeah. Hashtag go fuck yourself. That would actually be. Yeah, I told you Mike. Not to talk about Requiem for a Dream. Thanks, chat. Man. It's fucking wonderful. I actually like this new setup, man. I don't know if you can see it on your side, but in the studio, we actually can see the comments.
Oh, we can? Oh, shithole.
Yeah. Yeah. I just noticed it too. It's like, what is this little notification in the upper right hand corner? But it's got private chat. I guess me and you can be like, sup, boo, for reasons.
Show us your boobs. Mike, why are you so upset about Requiem for a Dream? Does it have to do with the ending scene with Jennifer Connelly?
I think he's triggered. Hashtag triggered. And now we wait for the delay. Wait for him.
I'd like to know.
I'd like to know.
I didn't know. So you kept saying Sean was talking, and I was like,
"Yeah, it's Twitch. He's talking. Oh,
he's on Twitch, which is great.
We're back on Twitch now. We're even on Twitter right now, which is wild. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of this new setup.
This is great.
I can legit put my hand on my laptop and not have any kind of burning sensation, which is nice. And now we've got a nice, easy way for people at home that join our show, like Sean and Mike. When you guys jump on, you can actually see the show change and transition without kind of going, what kind of picture are we not looking at? Which is great. And hopefully someday soon we'll get some more features like sharing a screen. Actually, I can share a screen. This will be cool. I can add a video file later, even an extra camera. So that'll be
fun. That's tight.
Yeah, bro.
Love it.
Yeah, bro.
There's that scene and the Marlon Wayans puking in the prison food and Jared Leto getting his arm amputated. Super downer. That movie's a fucked up movie. I know that. But that's the only movie I know Jennifer Connelly's in.
What's the movie with Robin Williams where he dies and Cuba Gooding Jr. is walking through hell, but it's really
What Dreams May Come?
That's the movie I always get Requiem for a Dream confused with. All the time.
It's a good movie. It's a very sad movie. It's a good movie.
Oh, yeah. If you want to go cry.
Speaking of Marlon Wayans, did you know that
and Jeremy says she's in the Hulk? Yes.
Jeremy Irons did a movie called Dungeons and Dragons in the 90s, and Marlon Wayans was in it.
Why do I feel like I've seen this?
And so was the guy from Sliders. Do you remember that show Sliders from Sci-Fi?
Yes, where they could slide between dimensions.
Yeah.
Sliders.
Look it up. Look up
Babylon came out.
It is fucking terrible.
I fucking feel like I've seen this.
You have to have seen it.
I feel like I've seen this. Of course, it's going to give me the game because who wants to hear this movie or see this movie ever again?
It's a bad movie. Speaking of Jeremy Irons, and I know that we're like completely off the rails, and I don't give a fuck. Like we're just talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a timestamp on it. 5 more minutes, and then we'll gracefully.
Have you seen Margin Call? So like,
no, but it's got dude, man.
It's got fucking everybody in it. I've been like watching a lot of like The Big Short and Margin Call because of what's going on with the economic crisis that's happening in our lives right now with the housing market and everything in the bubble.
Yeah.
But like Margin Call has Jeremy Irons, Paul Bettany, the dude from The Mentalist, Kevin Spacey. I think Jennifer Connelly's in. No, it's Demi Moore. Jerry Connolly. Like Jerry Connolly.
Jerry O'Connell.
No, it's Jerry Connolly. Jerry Connolly. Jerry Connolly is in Dungeons and Dragons.
You're right.
But Margin Call, and then the dude from what's that fucking movie?
Succession?
No, not Succession.
Mm.
The dude from Pat Penn Badgley.
Oh yeah, he's
in
that's
it.
right.
The dude who plays Spock in the new
Zachary
Star
Quinto.
Trek. Zachary
That's
Quinto's in it. That movie is fantastic.
This is why I haven't seen this. Kevin Spacey. You already mentioned that, but
I get that. Like, yeah, like I mean, he's an asshole, but what's his name is in it? The dude, Stanley Tucci's in it. Like, come on.
Demi Moore's in this. Yeah. Wow.
It's a great movie.
Oh, well, there you go. It's another reason we halfway brought this up. Let's bring up Jennifer Connelly again, since Paul Bettany's in it.
They're married, right?
Right. Which is super great.
Speaking of Jennifer Connelly, is Jerry Connelly related to Jennifer Connelly?
And if not, why not? Why not? Okay, this is by far my new favorite thing. I got to tell you this, man.
This streaming service?
Yeah, this is fantastic.
This is fantastic.
You can actually enter like full screen, so you just have the entire screen be our show while we're sitting here talking and stuff. This is nasty.
It's great, and I can see the PowerPoint, which is even better. Like, it's great.
I actually spent some time on it. But yeah. But well, you know what? What a great way to end year one of this show.
Yeah,
we've been doing it so this will be the last episode of the year. Next week we're going to be celebrating a 1-year anniversary. 35 episodes out of 52 total weeks. He's married to Rebecca Romaine Stamos. Oh, Jerry Connelly. Still? Oh yeah, she's no longer Rebecca Romaine Stamos. She's just Rebecca Romaine. But oh man, thanks. My ADD kicked in. Trying to do something nice here. But it's been a great year, Dom. I appreciate you being on every episode with me. You've been through a whole bunch of terrible things, being sick, and obviously the pandemic kind of helped us actually start this thing. But I'm having a blast. All the special guests we've had on, we'll mention them a little bit more next week when hopefully Happy will be on the episode. Sean, as always, you're invited if you want to be on again and reminisce with us. But man, hopefully some things kind of happen next week. Or it's just going to be a lot more like, hey, did you watch that trailer?
Dude,
another one came out?
Let's just have an hour-long year special where we talk about all the nice things that we've done for each other and all the reason why Mike Mahaffey is old.
I feel like that might be the first joke that was made on this show.
Yeah, I like to bookend it. Mike's old. Mike's old.
He was old earlier. Guess what?
He's even older now.
Still old. Awesome. Well, as always, thanks everybody. I'm Ernie Hawkins.
I'm Dom Irvin.
We are Joystick Maverick.
See you next time.
Fucking out. Peace. I'm putting this banner. I gotta learn this system real quick.
Mike says, I hate you.
That's a great way to end. We hate you too. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.